Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.
And we are live. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world, Bitcoin Ben. Good morning, everyone. Guys and gals, the world is going through the biggest, I can't even call it a revolution. This is all right, as of right now, we set the calendars here in America and the West at the BC. That means before Christ. This is that, and I'm not trying to say Jesus Christ isn't important. What I'm saying is it's a mindset, right? Christianity is a mindset. Heaven, hell, good, bad, sin, all of that is a mindset. And that was set, quote unquote, set about 2,000 years ago, or actually 2,026 years ago, give or take a few months. Where we're at right now is that large of a transition. As we go through the show today, I'm going to show you that, ironically, we are going through a not really a revolution, more than a shall we say, more of a larger scale global revelations, wink, wink. We are having more revealed now than ever before. The world is in a shift, and it's unstoppable. And for my Q friends, nothing can stop what's coming, because we have technological pressures that are ripping apart the economic structure, the global economic structure. We have everything's being decentralized. All right, there's a hardware, I think it's called the Mac Studio. It's basically like a server for your house. Those are selling out. And I'll tell you why. We've reached a level in technology where you can host your own website. You can host your own environment. Now, the reason this is relevant, in the old days, pre-2000 days, you could host your own website because the level of traffic on the internet wasn't really that much. So you could host your own website. And there were websites that you could share your files. One of the most famous is Napster, where you had an area on your hard drive that was accessible and held music, held videos, held movies, held whatever. And you could share those. Well, that fucked up the music industry. That was a precursor of where we are now. The reason the music industry freaked out was their product was now actually decentralized. So a lot of people owned the files and then just shared them freely amongst the rest of the people. So that basically slapped the shit out of the CDs and the Blu-rays and all that shit. So the corporations, using legislation, said, no, we're going to close this down. We're going to shut you guys down, you sons of bitches. You can't do this. And blah, blah. And looking back, they were absolutely right, because the music was owned. There was a music writer, there was a band, there was a producer, there was intellectual property that was being shared openly. Now, fast forward to today. That is where we are now, except the intellectual property is no longer safe, because now we have agents, we have AI, that if your idea is no longer safe. And just like the light bulb, when the light bulb was quote unquote invented, there was one guy who launched the first light bulb. Within a week, there was another. Within another week, there was another. And it wasn't that they communicated and said, hey, here's this fucking technology. Why don't you make yours? No. It was, as we say, an idea whose time had come. Now, we have 1 million, probably more, agents who are solving problems in real time. And these aren't general problems. Now, some of them are. Some of them are, hey, anybody can use this. This is a very general problem. But agents can also write software for a very specific problem at your house or at your company or whatever. So now there is no intellectual property protection because there's no locks on creativity anymore. We're reaching a point, and this links with the global financial order, because we just had an announcement. All right, I'll read this one. All right, that Robinhood announces that they can now trade such and such. Everything. If you have Apple, you can trade Apple. If you have strategy, you can trade strategy. You can do all these things. Now, mind you, on Robinhood, most of it is rehypothecation. Most of it is rehypothecation. So you don't really own the shares, right? It's your tracking the price of the shares. That's what you're doing. Now, That, the problem with that is now we have agents that can build something exactly like Robinhood. Exactly like Robinhood. And you can launch it. And since it is how it is, where it is rehypothecation and trading basically fucking derivatives, anyone with a community can do this. I could launch a Bitcoin Ben app where we don't really hold any Bitcoin. We hold a derivative of Bitcoin, and we trade on the price volatility of the Bitcoin. Are we touching Bitcoin? Absolutely fucking not. We're pretending. That's where we're at. That's where we're headed. That's where I won't even say headed. That's where we're at. So I want to play you a little clip here. It's fundamental that you understand what this guy's saying. All right. He has a machine, which is what I was explaining earlier. I think it's called like iMac or no. This is a Mac Studio. These are $10,000 each. All right. It's like a Mac Mini, except bigger and with a lot higher processing and all this other shit. So now you can host your own website using this hardware, because the internet at the average house is now quick enough to act as a server. All right? That's number one. The processing power of these is high enough to handle server volume. So you can now host your website, and it's local. It isn't up in the cloud. It isn't nothing like this. So this video explains how this machine does a $200,000 job for $3. Let me say that again. It does a $200,000 job for $3. And he explains why.
There are three kinds of developers right now. One is about to get very rich, one is about to become obsolete, and the third doesn't even know they're a developer yet. For 60 years, the job was human writes code, machine executes it. That's over. The unit of work is not the instruction anymore. It's the token, a unit of purchased intelligence. You describe what you want, you feed the context, you buy enough inference, and the machine figures out all of the next steps. That fundamental shift in compute has split the career into three tracks. Track one is what I'll call the orchestrator. This is the person who doesn't write code, but who specifies outcomes and manages the intelligence that produces those outcomes. Think factory manager for AI. StrongDM runs a 3-person engineering team. Nobody writes code. Nobody reviews code. Agents write, test, and ship autonomously. The humans just write the specs and look at the results. Track two is what I'll call the systems builder. Somebody has to build the infrastructure the orchestrators use, the agent frameworks, the evaluation pipelines, the routing layers that send the right task to the right model at the right cost. Smaller track, but a very high ceiling on pay. Track three is the domain translator. This is the big one nobody's talking about. These are people, often not traditional developers, who combine enough technical fluency to work with AI and really deep domain knowledge to know which problems are actually worth solving. The dental practice specialist, the construction scheduling expert, the insurance compliance analyst who can now build tools instead of just using them. The person most exposed right now is the one in the middle of the old distribution, someone who writes competent code but doesn't have deep systems expertise or deep domain expertise. The value of generic code production is going to zero. You're going to have to pick a track on this new field because the middle of the old way of coding is disappearing forever.
All right, now let me elaborate on this. I was watching a show earlier, and the CEO of the company used AI and created software for him to run his company. He said, while he's sleeping one day, at night, while he's sleeping, his AI agents are achieving more than he could do in 1 month. Let that sink in. The guy's sleeping, and the agents are getting more wrapped up than he could get wrapped up in 1 month. He's already planning. I think he said he had 17 employees. He's going down to 3. From 17 to 3. Because he no longer needs, because his other employees are basically, they execute relatively easy tasks in the company. This new revolution. Oh, hang on. This new revolution is literally going to eradicate jobs. Now, here's another thing right here. All right. Let's read through this. This is absolutely insane. On February 20th at 1 p.m., Claude announced Claude Code Security. This is an automated AI tool that scans code base for vulnerabilities. As of 1 p.m., 2 days, just 2 trading days later, CrowdStrike erases $20 billion of market cap on the news. Now, that's wild enough. All right. They announce Claude Security Code, it drops. Then another day, and it drops. Remember, from here to here, the market's closed. So it didn't move while the market was closed. Gee, that's odd. As soon as the market opened, it plunges, and then it plunges some more. Now, that's freaky enough. Everyone's like, oh, CrowdStrike is just, they're done. Oh, they're toast. This one Claude AI just wiped out $20 billion in market cap. But what they're not telling you is on February 20th, Claude announces Claude Code security. What they do not tell you is on that same day, on a website called GitHub, someone in the open law area of the GitHub launched a skill that basically is exactly what Claude Code Security does locally. So Claude Code wipes out CrowdStrike. They lose a bunch of money. But Claude Code Security gets wiped out with one random open source post. Because trust me, guys, the people that would use Claude Code Security are on that other website. It's all a bunch of software people. So you have one AI totally destroy or almost totally destroy a whole corporation that has over 14,000 employees. All right, no, I'm sorry, 1,400 employees. But the same time, another AI launches an AI that does what the original AI does for free. So the third AI eliminated the cost and the profit of the second AI that wiped out the third corporation. So you have an AI wipe out a company. All right, wait. You have an AI that costs you money. Wipe out a corporation with 1,400 employees. Then you have an open source AI wipe out the AI that was going to charge you money. Where does this go? We got how is the average person going to have any idea what to do with this? I'm completely lost. I need to get a job outside the matrix. Brother, Slick, I'm with you, brother. The problem is the average Joe, the average Jane, just like almost every other technological revolution, they're going to get blindsided with this. Because and right now we're only talking software. Hang on one second. I am going to show you guys a video, and this will blow your mind, right? Because let's see here. Robot. Let's see what we got here. All right, here we go. All right. Hang on one second. All right, I'm going to bring this up. Stop screen, share screen. Here's robots. This was last week over in China. Some of you may have seen this, some of you may have not. But watch, right? This is a group of robots. They're running on one AI. Let's rock and roll. Okay. Now, the reason I wanted to play this was very simple. Yeah. Rest in peace, Chinese factory workers. Look at IBM stocks. Just can't wait until it hits Microsoft. Absolute. Microsoft is toast. And what's crazy is OpenAI is toast. Right? We have so many of these OpenAI. We got Anthropic. We got all of these large corporations that have raised a bunch of money for the data centers. We're going to open up a bunch of data centers. Now, in less than a month, now we have people who are creating a data center in their own house with a Mac Studio. They don't need the data center. They don't need the data center. They can host it locally. They can host their own AI locally. So all this money that they're putting out in the data centers, I just like saying it like Joycey, data center, right? They got to pay for that. Who's going to pay for AI service when you can do it yourself for free? And the user interfaces are getting so much better on open source than they are at these larger projects. Because what is open source? It's just a bunch of people like, hey, look what I came up with. Here, guys, play with this. They throw it out there, and then other people are like, oh, that's cool code. I can add on to this, and I can do this, and I can do that. Right? That's awesome. Now, with the robots, what's going to happen with the robots is exactly what happened to the for those of you who know automotive history, 1927 Chevy. Do you know what happened? The 1927 Chevy, that's whenever people who had bought the car, they bought it and modified it. We call those roadsters. At the time, they actually called them hoppers, but that doesn't really matter. So this new automotive technology comes out. And a perfect example is Shelby. Let me tell you the story of Shelby right after this word from the sponsor. Hold, please.
Ever wondered how safe your online activities really are? How secure is your digital footprint? In the vast realm of the internet, privacy and security are paramount. Without adequate protection, your personal data might be at risk. There are solutions to these issues, and today we're going to talk about two of them. Introducing Liberty laptops from Calyx Solutions. These cutting-edge devices are meticulously designed to bolster online privacy, providing you the liberty to surf the internet incognito. The World Wide Web can be a wild frontier, but with Liberty laptops, your online privacy is always protected. We also present you crypto laptops, designed with cryptocurrency users in mind. Equipped to support a myriad of wallets and exchanges, these laptops are tailored for seamless cryptocurrency transactions. They offer enhanced security protocols to keep your digital assets safe. Crypto laptops ensures a secure and smooth cryptocurrency experience. It's time to take control of your online privacy and security. Venture over to Calyx Solutions and explore our Liberty laptops and crypto laptops. Don't forget, our affiliate program lets you earn $50 per sale. Visit calyxsolutions.io now or call 702-845-8276 for more information, because your online safety is our priority.
All right, welcome back. And of course, because we have the smartest audience in the world. Exactly. Also, like the dock workers got fired when the containers came. Exactly. Now, Shelby. Shelby was a musclehead. He loved muscle cars. And he would buy these cars and then rebuild them and then sell them as a Shelby model. Then he actually partners up with Ford and he makes the Ford 500 Shelby. That's like 1960 something. So you had the Shelby Ford Mustang. There you go. Because what's going to happen with these robots, guys, when I was a kid, I used to tinker around with motorcycles and fucking cars and swap out like engines and transmissions and be like, here's a great example. I had a friend who had a 1971 or 1972 GTO Judge, and we swapped out the engine with a Cadillac fucking 501. Well, and that thing was ridiculous. It had 2 4-barrel carburetors on it. You don't even want to know what that thing could do. It was so powerful. He fucking took off at a light and he bent the frame. We had to dog leg the whole way home. But that's what these younger people are going to do with these robots. They're going to soup them up. You're going to have kids out in their freaking garage making Rosie the robot in look like a Megatron. You know, Optimus Prime, originally Elon's robot, but now it's Optimus Prime. This is going to go wild. And there will, as soon as they're out, watch for it. You're going to have companies fucking launching with upgrades and, hey, if the hand isn't powerful enough, you can swap it out for this and you can swap it out for that and all this other good shit. And you are good. Mark my words, we have it right now. There are companies that will take a regular Tesla, soup it up, and then you get it. It's going to be the same thing with the robots. Okay, thank you. 1965 for the Shelby 500 GT. It's so right now, robots are centralized. All right. Elon's going to ship out robots. All these places are going to ship out robots. But then those robots will be decentralized through the creative process of humans. This is incredible. And the reason I'm really talking about this is that those robots we just watched, those were nowhere near that 6 months ago. 6 months ago, they could walk. And not perfect. You walk up, you shove them over, they kind of fall over. 6 months ago. Now they're fucking ninjas. They're flipping around, they're jumping around, they're doing all this shit off of 6 months of AI training. What are they going to do in 6 more months? Yeah, 6 months ago, they walked like Joe Biden. Now they're fucking ninjas. Now, the reason that I am concentrating on this so much, and we're hearing people talk about this now, this is like the moment that Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin and Hal Finney puts out running Bitcoin. He didn't even say mining Bitcoin. They hadn't even named it mining yet. This motherfucker's just running code. And what happened? That was open source code. That's what Bitcoin is, open source code. And through the evolution, it was improved. It was improved. It was improved. Next thing you know, we oh my God, we got seed phrases. This is fucking amazing. Look at, trust me, guys. The seed phrase upgrade was like the biggest user interface upgrade of fucking Bitcoin ever. Because now you had something that you could memorize that wasn't like 100 and something long number. That is this moment. That's when the Bitcoin launched and it started to decentralize money. Now, AI was launched. Now it's decentralizing intelligence and creativity and software creation. In, I think it was 1890, there was a factory. No, I'm sorry, 1904. There was a factory up in New York. It was a clothing factory. And they had a bunch of women that worked there. They put in this new sewing machine thing. More than half the employees got fired, which led, and they were union employees that led to the union setting the warehouse on fire. But that's a separate story. So what we have going on right now is we have a lot of factories. We actually call them clouds. There are a bunch of factories up there where there's a bunch of work getting done. And there's a lot of people who are in digital factories that we call companies. Like Microsoft is a digital factory. Apple is a digital factory. X is a digital factory. AI cannot, it's the equivalent of in 1904, if you had a machine you could put at your house and it would make you clothing. That's the equivalent. You no longer even need the company. That's what we're going through right now. And it's only speeding up. Guys, it's been a little over a month since we got Claudebot, all right, which changed its name to OpenClaw. A little over a month. And we have technology a little older than a month that is causing multi-billion-dollar corporations to lose billions of dollars in 2 days. And that software's a little over a month old. Yeah, this is going to be wild. All right. Yeah, we don't need companies anymore. That's going to be wild. Yeah. This is moving so fast. All right, now let's jump over to another topic. I want to show you guys. I don't know if you saw this yet, but if you didn't, get the pluck ready. I've been kind of following this guy lately. All right. Here we go. They're on the verge of eliminating aging. And a while back, I watched this guy on Joe Rogan. I think it was Joe Rogan. I think it was Joe Rogan. And then I'm sitting here watching going, wait a second, now there's no fucking way. Well, hang on a second. What the hell is this guy saying? Oh, and I also saw him on Moonshots, which was another fucking crazy episode. Listen to what this guy's saying. This year, within, he said, probably 2 or 3 months, we're going to find out if we can reverse aging in humans. They've already reversed aging 75% in a bunch of different animals. Like, I think it's rats, it's like monkeys, it's, I want to say a cat or a dog or something like that. Reversed ages in 6 weeks. So let me just lay this out. What if, because this is what they're claiming, what if you could take a pill or a shot for 6 weeks and you reverse age to your early 20s? How old are you? Right, I am 51. What is 75% of 51? I don't know. Someone tell me. What is 75% of 51? If you could put that over in the chat, I would appreciate it. All right. So, oh, come on, camera. Get your shit straight. There we go. All right. No one's put it over in the chat yet. But, all right, 75%. So that'd be like what? All right. So 75% is 38. So how much is 51 subtract 38? All right. So that means see, yeah, that would return you to 13 years old. All right, so I may only take the medicine for like 4 weeks, which would put me at like 24, maybe 25. This is wild. Watch this. Now, this is not me saying this, guys. It's this dude. And what's crazy, this dude here, look at him. Hey, Hyde, how old is he? Isn't he like 60 something?
I think he weighs around 60, maybe late 50s. I forget how old he is.
Yeah, all right. So
I can find out though.
Yep. So this dude here is around 60 years old. He don't look 60. Hang on one second. And here we go.
Aging doesn't have to be acceptable. In my world, aging is a medical condition that's very common and it's increasingly treatable. Even if we cured all cancer today, we would only live an average of an extra 2.5 years. Let that sink in. All cancer's gone today. We only live on average another 2.5 years. Why? Because all of the diseases are going up at the same time. So we need to tackle all of the diseases at once, and that's aging. Aging is the cause of these diseases. And what I'm going to tell you today is that next month, we're going into human clinical trials to test for the first time in history whether we can reverse the aging process and cure diseases. We can tackle aging because we now believe we understand why we age. And it's not wear and tear. It's not that we just wear out like a car. Our bodies are not like cars. Our bodies are more like computers that can be programmed and reprogrammed and rebooted to be young again. We are like computers, not machines. One analogy, and hopefully you all remember what a compact disc is. We think aging is like scratches on a CD. The DNA is the music. So we get beautiful music when we're young, but when we get old, we cannot read the beautiful music. Our cells do not read the DNA correctly. So the cells, they become lost. They become confused, and our old cells do not make the right proteins, and they get diseases. This, we believe, is aging. But what's amazing is we found that you can polish the CD, you can get rid of the scratches and rejuvenate cells so they're young again. And to put it another way, you can reinstall the software of the body so that it's young again. We can quite literally, in my lab, reverse the age of cells and of very complex organs and tissues, including the eye, the most complex, and the brain. We can reverse aging by 75% in 6 weeks. We actually were able to show that using this method, we could cure blindness in animals for the first time. We could cure.
Let that sink in. They cured fucking blindness with the drug or with gene therapy. The animals were blind. They gave them this fucking treatment. the cells in their eyes regenerated and they were no longer blind.
Blindness. And the world reported just last week that the US FDA regulatory body cleared the way for the first age reversal human trial. It's a big deal. The FDA is very supportive. And we will know this year, maybe in the next few months, if age reversal works.
Okay, now, if you're not freaked out enough, now, when I say freaked out, I don't mean negatively freaked out. Well, I don't know what I mean. You kind of got to absorb this yourself and go, am I going to freak the fuck out, or should I just kind of chill out and see what the fuck happens? I'm going with the chill the fuck out and see what the fuck happens. Now, the last few minutes of the show here, I want to talk about something. If you guys are like me, and mind you, I'm very good at kind of seeing forward, seeing where shit's kind of going. I have no idea. I can probably judge accurately on maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months. Now that varies. If you're like, hey, Ben, what's going to happen in AI over the next 6 months? Fuck the fuck if I know. What I do know is a lot of companies are getting wiped out. And it's just an advancement in technology. What I'm seeing and what I'm anticipating over the next 2 to 3 years is not how it's going to happen, just it's going to fucking happen. There's going to be a lot of disruption. Oh, and watch this evening at 9 o'clock. Trump is putting out his State of the Union address. Everyone watch that. I got a little note from my friend KFC. Shout out KFC if you're watching this. Watch the State of the Union. There's going to be some drops in it. And here, watch for what Trump says twice. When he repeats himself right after, like if he says, boy, this is a beautiful day outside. Boy, it's a beautiful day outside. If he says something twice, watch for that. We're entering into uncharted territories because as of right now and moving forward, nothing is knowable. And I mean that when I say that, nothing is knowable. The elites, and when I say elites, that's hilarious. Trump is going to introduce the ambassador to the Elohim, probably at this point. This is our ambassador to the aliens, also known as the Jews. No, I'm just joking. You know, it would be a trip if he says, well, we're going to do some exploration in Antarctica. We're going to do some exploration in Antarctica. What wouldn't surprise you right now? What would surprise you right now? Not much. Or at least not me. If Trump rolled out and said, okay, yeah, aliens are real. Here's some pictures of some fucking aliens. In fact, you see that one person out in the crowd right there? Raise your hand. Yep, that's the representative, like you said, of the Elohim. Everyone say hi. It's just so much is unknowable right now. And that's what's going on in the markets. That's what's going on with Bitcoin. That's what's going on with the stock market. That's what's going on with industry. That's what's fucking going on everywhere. All right? Is no one knows what to do because every day it's changing. I mean, every day there's something new. But what I do know is the only things that have a chance of holding their value is something with a limited supply. That's it. We're actually, oh my God, we're getting news that there's so many gold and silver derivatives out there, and we should find out within a couple days how many of the silver contracts will request the delivery. Highest volume in history of so far requested deliveries. They're hoping a bunch of them will just take cash. But think about this. If you had a couple of contracts for silver and they gave you a call and said, hey, yeah, is there any way we can pay you in cash? Are you going to say yes? No. You are going to say, nope. Send me my silver. I mean, we already have, right? Banking collapse coming. We already have them fucking failing left and right. There was like 4 of them that fucking collapsed last week, but it wasn't in the mainstream news. We have hedge funds collapsing. We have all these entities we have a question. Why did BlackRock dump BTC? Because of their flows from yesterday. It happens every day. They buy or they sell judged off of what their volume was yesterday. Shit's getting crazy, guys. And the world we're moving in, hell, the world we're in right now is absolutely insane. But what are you going to do about it? All right. We live in interesting times, folks. Okay, everyone, have a great day today. And remember, enjoy the ride because we're all on the ride and no one knows where the fuck we're going. Have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.